Hey everyone, it's Whimsy. I thought it would be kind of fun to go ahead and pre-record a reading since I usually do them live, and so I'm going to do a little bit more pre-recording as we go along. Be sure before we get started to share, like, and subscribe, and click the bell notification so that you can be notified about all our upcoming videos. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, I want to talk about the remote viewings. So the first remote viewing was really pretty wild. I had a couple really wild remote viewings the last couple of days, but here's the one that's really pretty cool. It has to do with not only the future economy, but the future ecosystem of Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas are having an emerging new green economy over the coming years. And one of the things that I saw in the remote is that they're going to be growing a forest, and the forest that I saw hits all the way. This forested area, this new greening, will start in southeast Arizona, moving into parts of northeast Mexico. There's also going to be greening projects going from north New Mexico into parts to other states. Colorado and Utah will be affected by this new green economy, and parts of Texas also, particularly parts of, I keep seeing Amarillo, these conservative areas, starting to dramatically change as the new economy changes. One of the new economies that I saw that's kind of exciting, I saw this quite a bit in Arizona, but it's expanding to other areas as well, and it's perfect with the desert, and that is new green ecosystem housing. And when I went further into this remote, it looked like there's going to be new economy emerging between Israeli green economy and Texas millionaires and billionaires that are switching to the new green economy. And one of the things that I saw in the remote was that Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas were developing, because they were dry areas that didn't produce a lot of rain, they were going to be able to produce green housing that was able to capture its own water to feed moisture to plants, and also to draw moisture and wildlife, etc. And I saw that happening quite a bit in Arizona, these new green adobe-like homes that literally are biodynamic and are friendly to expanding bird habitats. Also, I saw biodiversity starting to take place in Arizona, really a lot in Arizona. I saw literally a new forest emerging in parts of southern Arizona, parts of southwest New Mexico, and then Texas goes green as well. The Oklahoma economy, the southern part, the southwestern part of Oklahoma will also start to slowly switch over to the new green economy. Somebody had asked me what is the fate of animals that are part of the factory farms in the coming years. I think that the cattle will slowly be sold off as more and more ranchers, more and more people that are part of that industry go under, because it's no longer a feasible economy. And the reason it's not a feasible economy is because people find cheaper, more humane ways to get their protein. So I think we're already starting to see a dip, and we'll continue to see a dip. Also, it's too much. There are too many health risks with this type of farming, etc. I think that, when you go into this energy, it looks like there'll be specialty farms for people who do like to hunt and eat meat. But by and large, I think it's something that's dying out, except amongst certain people that just like it. But the main thing I took away from this remote was this idea that there was a new wild west emerging, and that it was almost like three countries, that Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico became kind of like their own sovereign nation together, but not in a negative way, but in a positive way, just in terms of cooperation, working together, and really codependent in terms of their economy, tourism, etc. Together as three nations, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas will evolve as an emerging, powerful green economy. Parts of Colorado, Utah, and Oklahoma will also be positively affected. They'll develop new green desert housing, recyclable water systems and air filters. Drought-resistant plants will help retain water, purify the water, and create new habitats for evolving species and ecosystems. All right, so those are the remotes. There was a concern, people had asked the last remote about Donald Trump supporters that are claiming he is the true president and they're willing to die for him, and will this devolve into escalated militias, etc.? I think, can it turn into independent militias attacking the U.S., etc.? When I went into the energy, I didn't feel that. I felt like the energy dissipates because Donald Trump will be ruined publicly. And even though there may be small pockets that continue to hold on, it begins to die out as the new economy emerges. All right, I'm only going to throw on two things today to keep this sweet and short. The first is the future rulings from the Supreme Court on Donald Trump, and I'll do that right now. And I'll go ahead and say a simple prayer before I do. I want to call on white light protection for myself and my viewers as we ask for permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, for the planet, for the people we love, for our families, but also to help those we have strife with. And together we say, Amen. Amen. All right, so we're looking at the Supreme Court. All right, so the base cards are the Page of Wands, New Beginning, and Chariot, things moving very quickly. So there's a new beginning here and things moving very, very quickly. So what does that mean? I think it could be a new beginning with Biden, and this will move through the courts very quickly. There's a trickster here. First card is an inverted magician, an attempt at trickery. What crosses it, it's over. So no, it doesn't go anywhere. You can see it's pretty easy to read. As I have said, the inverted magician card is someone who is the trickster. Loki is the inverted magician, and you can see what's crossing him is a transformation or change. Things are moving on, and there's a new beginning here. What is above? The courts. What is below? Moonlighting with the courts. There's the plaintiff. This is Trump. No, it has no legs. It won't go anywhere. Inverted strength card. It has no legs. There's no secret deal here. There's no liaisons happening on the side, hopes and fears. It's not happening. There's no secret deal here. There's no. If there had been lovers, it might suggest that something was happening on the side, something clandestine. The other person in relationship to the courts, I'm assuming, is Trump. His card is Ten of Swords. Where they're at, you can see mastery here, the best of the best. The Four of Wands coming in leads me to think that the court, even though it may be considered conservative right now, is rather harmonious. They seem to be working together fairly well. The clarification is that they bring down the ruling. It looks like it's a united ruling. Looks like the thief attempts to flee. There's no strength to it. It's over in the grave. He may attempt to return to where he came, to go back to his old love. He is going to have to go to New York. He's going to have to go back to New York and face court cases, and he will face them, but he's going to attempt to stay out of jail. But he will return back to New York to face the music. It may not go well for him. You can see the clarification. You can see it's the clarification, Ten of Swords, to go back. So it looks like Trump is not going to be too happy with that. Going back does not result in anything particularly good for him. All right, I was going to take a look now at the Hunter Biden. People had asked about if anything was going to come from that. The Durham report, is that what it's called? Am I lopsided? What's going to happen to Hunter Biden? He has a lot of anxiety when I go into Hunter Biden's energy. He often presents as not being able to handle a lot of stress. He often presents as complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And just like he often, even when you see pictures of him, he's often in he often appears as if he's in a state of acute distress. That's classic for complex post-traumatic stress disorder. It doesn't surprise me he's self-medicated with drugs. Losing a mother early is considered one of the worst traumas that a child can undergo. So there's the problem here when you go into the energy is that this is someone that will be struggling with sobriety. You can see here his 11th house is the Moon card, lunatic, possible mental health challenges. It's also my card that I associate, particularly if there's a Temperance card around, with alcoholism. The base of the matter is Three of Wands, which gets his wish, or his ship is waiting to come in. This is somebody who has a lot of survivor's guilt, a lot of guilt and shame because he survived, but his brother Beau, who was better, who was smarter, who was the good child, died. He lived and he didn't deserve to live. So you get into some very, very deep grief here. I don't deserve to be alive. Mother dies early. Child internalizes it, thinks there's something that he did that caused it. Perceives of himself as messed up or a problem or always making the problems. He's not a good child. He creates problems. So again, this is somebody who really has deep issues of self-blame, which actually could indicate that he has quite a conscience. First house is poverty card, exile, again, often associated with alcoholism, being in poverty. When associated with an 11th card, like I said, a karma card, lunatic, possibly a drug problem or alcoholism. Somebody's angry with him, or somebody in a position possibly of where they're attempting to establish their territory. There's a territory issue here. This is an issue of territory. Somebody's boundaries have been crossed, or somebody's issues regarding this, and then there's a conflict. It's probably the courts and his taxes. Some kind of deal. They're trying to get him to agree that he did something wrong, even if he doesn't feel that he did, and that's the conflict. They're trying to get him to confess to something he may not have confessed to. It's led to, I'm very concerned about his sobriety right now, his mental health. He's being harassed. They're trying to dig something up on him and make his life hell and get him to, they're trying to create something where there is nothing. And he needs to talk to the feds. He needs help for this, because this is almost like harassment. Like, if they can get him to confess he did something he didn't do, then they can use it against Biden and the Democrats in the future. Yeah, he may have to go back into some type of a rehab program. There's somebody, possibly a judge or somebody, coming in regarding an issue of a crash here. Oh, there's something here about his money and travel. He's going to be okay. It looks like his cards for the outcome are pretty clean, but this is somebody who has suffered tremendously and holds on to quite a bit of pain and shame. You know, this is his heart, what he sits in. It's our deep thoughts, and you can just see tangled internal conflict. It's as if he's at war with himself. This is somebody who we should send lots of prayers to. All right. There you have it. Those are the Hunter Biden cards. I decided that I would just do a couple remotes and 2 card readings. Keep it nice and short and sweet. All right, so thanks for watching, everybody. If you're still trying to get in for a reading, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com. And I'll speak to you later. Take care. Bye.